All right. First thing I like to do whenever we start reviewing for an AP test is going over the reference materials that they give you and making sure that you understand everything in there. Now, keep in mind, I've modified these reference materials, and you can use any reference materials you want. So if you find a cheat sheet you think you like better, or if you want to modify the one I've given you, all that's great. I wouldn't put too much on there, and I wouldn't put stuff on there that you're not comfortable using. So anything you're not comfortable using, you either need to get comfortable using it, or just don't fool with it. Um, the AP test is not a great time to be experimenting with new things. All right. All right. So first off, math class. Okay, these are all just calculation methods. I would not expect you to actually see these. They're on the reference of the AP test. But for example, math.abs -3, that's going to spit out 3. That's going to give you the positive value no matter what. Okay. Um, math.pow, you put in the base, you put in the exponent, so 3 comma 2, that's the same as 3 to the second power. That's 9. Okay. Again, I'm not really expecting to see any of these 3 on there. Math.squirt, okay, that's going to give you 3. Okay. So I know how to do those. I wouldn't spend a lot of time on it because it's probably not going to be on there. Max min. You don't need these methods. There's other ways to do this, but I find them helpful sometimes. All it does is if you've got 2 numbers, it spits out the max, the biggest one, or you give it 2 numbers, it spits out the min. So, for example, math.max 3 7, that will return 7. It's going to return the biggest of the 2. Math.max 4 -7, that's going to return 4. Okay, and same thing for min. I don't think I need to show you that. All right, math.random. Okay, math.random, it returns a random double from 0 to 1, inclusive on the 0 and exclusive on the 1. So it's like from 0 to 0.99999. Okay. So this will mainly come up when you're doing probability calculations. Like, hey, there's a 30% chance this will happen. Well, if math.random is less than 0.3, then the thing happened. Okay, because that's the same as it being a 30% chance. Okay? That's really the only way I would expect it to show up in that form. Now, you can also calculate a random double on another interval. So let's say I wanted to go from 30 to 49.9999. So basically 50, but not inclusive of 50. Well, all I need to do, math.random, I need to multiply by the range of these numbers. So 50 minus 30, which is 20. And then a, that's my lower bound there. So if I do this, this is going to get me from 0 to 19. And then I just take all of that and I add 30 to it. And that's going to get me this double range that I want. What I've seen a couple of times is it asking you to pick a random element from an array or a random element from an array list. So to do that, you have to pick a random index. Well, to pick a random index, you need to pick a random integer. So, first things first, we're going to take all of what we're about to do and convert it to an integer. Okay, we know we're going to want an integer. So math.random, and then we're going to multiply by our range plus 1. So like, for example, let's say I want just to simulate a random dice roll. Okay, int from 0 to 6, both inclusive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, well, what's the range between 6 and 1? Okay, well, that's 5. Well, if I multiply 0 by 5, I get 0. If I multiply 1 by 5, I get 5. But remember, it's not actually 1. It's like really, really close to that. So that's going to get us numbers from 0 to 4.99999. So what I'm doing is I'm expanding that to 0 to 5.9999. So that's going to get me integers 0 to 5. Because remember, it just cuts off a decimal. And then to shift it from 0 to 5 to 1 to 6, I add that smallest number. If none of what I just said made any sense, if you follow the formula exactly, that will generate a random integer from A to B. All right, we'll talk about more later.